In the name of Allah, in the name of Him, the most beneficent, the most merciful. My name is Gabriel Morton. My Iranian name is Ali Reza Jafarpur. And I present you very, very important international radio or YouTube or speech program. This is very, very important for future of the human being who live on earth, who want to live in peace, prevent disasters like global warming. This is the number 32 on philosophy of the gabrielism and how this philosophy of the gabrielism will help you and make a platform for anybody on earth to choose a president for all of the nations and all of the countries, somebody without any bias. And this is the second part. I was talking about efficiency and quality of the Pope Benedict, and I want to say that he is the father of at least 3 billion Christians in the world, but he is not sufficient because he is just father for Christians. If Pope Benedict pass over religion and come to new religion that I called Gabriel's new philosophy, not religion, and be father for 8 billion people, he will be qualified more than ever to be president for earth, somebody without any bias, to judge between nations and countries and solve the disasters, solve the problems. What is these problems? You see between Russia and Ukraine, you see now between Palestinian and Israel, and you will see very soon in all of the other places in the world. People fight for borders, for lands, for resources, for money. For example, that is invisible war between China and Russia and United States of America. United States of America is not deserved to be the king of the world because he dominated by dollar and used dollar as a weapon against other nations. So United States of America is a country who has a bias. For example, one of the most greatest man is Donald Trump. He is genius. He is able to be president for all of the nations and all of the countries. He is able to be leader for all of the nations and all of the countries. But Donald Trump want to make United States of America great again. We are looking for somebody who want to make every nation great again and all of the nation again great again and make profits and benefits and wealth and power and happiness and fortune and welfare and healthy conditions for all of the nations and all of the countries. So this is the problem for Donald Trump. So he can't be a president for all of the nations. Also about Vladimir Putin. These great these great peoples, these great politicians must deeply think about themselves and their viewpoints about human beings to change themselves and be qualified to be president for all of the nations. I was talking about passing over or pass from these obstacles. That is a barrier for great politicians and prevent these great obstacles prevent themselves to be international leader for, I'm sorry, I have a little trouble. To be international leader or a president for all of the nations. For example, I am talking about Allah. Allah is a God of Muslim, and if you see every place, every people knows Allah is a God for Muslims, and this is just a name. Just want to say that at the time of the Prophet Muhammad, peace upon him, 1,400 years ago in Mecca, or the capital of the religions, those times, Jewish people beside Christian peoples, beside the angel worshippers that we know that as a polytheist nowadays, because variantly Arabic nations introduced those people as a polytheists. They were not polytheists. They are angel worshippers. And if you read in the history what was inside Kaaba, or the house of the God or house of Allah, that was too much statues or some idols that people worship these idols. They were the symbol of the daughters of the God, and daughters of the God, they were angels. That is very, very interesting discussion, and we don't have a time to explain for you. Maybe in the next sessions, in next program, I will describe why people who live inside Mecca don't believe to Christianity and Jewish, and Christianity and Jewish. They were minority in the Arabic societies 1,400 years ago. That is because a lot of mystical masters, mysticism masters, those times they visited the angels of the God, and they never saw Allah. Allah was the King of the kings or God of the gods in the parallel worlds. That is very, very difficult discussion. Now I have to describe full philosophy of the gabrielism or angelism. Angelism and gabrielism is speak about the angels of the God who has power to make great change in our nature. For example, make rain or make floods, make earthquakes, and many other things, many other great change in the nature. The masters, spiritual masters, those times visited these angels of the God, and if they worship these symbols as idols inside Kaaba, and they doesn't believe to the Moses and Jesus, because Moses and Jesus they were belonged to the past and belonged to the history. For these practical spiritual masters, but they saw by themselves the angels of the God. So they created some sculptures, and they created some idols. Then and they respected these idols. They never said these are gods or our gods or even godnesses. Some like the Greece ancient people who had many gods or had many godnesses. They just said these are the daughters of the God or angels of the God, and they are effective force in the nature, and we want to just to respect. We believe in Allah as a king of the king, and as the king of the gods, and as the supreme gods upon all of the godnesses and all of the gods. Prophet Muhammad come to them and said, you don't need any intermediate God to worship God. and you don't need to worship the daughters of the God or angels of the God. You can just simply worship directly Almighty God, who is the King of the gods, and His name is Allah, and He is also the same God for Moses and Jesus. So I want to direct you directly to worship the original main God, not the intermediates and something that is between you and between gods, between you and between gods, and between gods, between you and between Allah. Because you have, when you go to a spiritual journey and you want to make achievement in the spirituality, you will encounter with a lot of non-human supreme beings. They are more than human beings, and they are, for example, jinns, angels, and they are between you and between Godness. Godness is some supreme forces that visited by ancient scientists of the Greece. And after that, if you go further and go more up, you will pass from all these creatures, angel-like creatures created by God, and they are your obstacles, because they veil the Almighty Allah, because they introduce themselves as a ladder to achieve to high level to visit for visit God. So the problem between most of the Arab tribes and Jewish people, most of the Arab tribes and Christian peoples, that they wanted to introduce the God of Moses and God of the Jesus for peoples who were actually the masters of the spirituality, and they had some spiritual powers. They do some. They could able to do some magic, some sorcery, and they could do some amazing things. That is not our main discussion today. So I have to come back to the analyze the quality of Pope Benedict to be president for all of the nations. As I told in the previous session, we need somebody who is trustable for all of the sides, all of the political sides, all of the economic schools, all of the philosophies, all of the religions. Somebody who has not bias and is in the center and middle, and can judge all of the peoples without any bias, and prevent any murder, any killing, especially murder women and children, and make permanent peace between all of the nations and all of the countries. I hope European countries join us to make a united monetary system separated from dollar, and we will call this new system, instead of SWIFT, we call that SUSHIFT. This SUSHIFT will have a real money that has backing and has golden background. Later on in the next session, I will describe China and Russia. If they are wise, if they are enough wise, they will combine together to make this international monetary system, plus Kim Jong-un, plus European countries. And if European countries want to save their own nation from the poverty and pain that will be the subsequent of the Ukraine war, if they want to rescue themselves and separate themselves from the blind, cheating way that is chosen by United States of America, they will join us to make a united monetary system. So we will agree to make a central international bank inside Europe, especially in France or Germany, and then we will have a separate way from the blind, cheating economy that is made and created by United States of America. the cheating of the dollar and cheating of the cryptocurrencies that will destroy all of the economies in the world, all of the countries, and make the fake values and make hyperinflation. And as a result, you will see corruption and the domination of the Satan and evil force in all of the countries. That is on behalf of the benefits, not just for 90% of the world people in India, China, Russia, Asian countries, and Africa and European countries. That is on behalf of the 9% of the American peoples who live in injustice created by this Varan capitalism approach. So we have to make a new system that is not obviously communism and Marxism, that is Gabrielism. Gabrielism will present something that is acceptable, not just only for every religion and philosophers, but also is acceptable for all of the peoples in the world because has no bias and want to make a true economy. And Gabrielism is the only way for saving nature, the only way that help people to make 1 billion new jobs I will make for all of the nations. But we don't want to reject all of the noble politicians. We will give opportunity to Vladimir Putin, Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un, Hillary Clinton, Condoleezza Rice, Trump, Biden, and many other politicians, Alana Baerbock in Germany, Macron, Merkel, to join us and make a correction in the wrong, misleaded asteroid human being who lost his or her own true way and correct way. We want to guide them to come and make a group with us and make agreement toward making a better world for everybody who live on Earth. So we have to choose as soon as possible, very, very quickly, a president, and that is the peak of the civilization for all of the nations and all of the countries. I just made 2 examples. One is Pope Benedict, the second is Trump, and say they are limited by their own, by their oneself. They are limited oneself by religions, by territory, some people by language and culture, some people by some political or economic school, Marxism, communism. Any of these people made limitation for themselves. So if somebody wants to be president for Earth, he or she, for example, one of the best options is even nowadays the king or prince of the United Kingdom. They have to pass the obstacles. These obstacles is making biases, sexism, radicalism, especially radicalism on sexism, radicalism on nationality, radicalism in religions that you see nowadays, war between Palestinian and Israeli people, radicalism on racism, like Nazism and fascism, Hitler and Mussolini. They are limited themselves, they were limited themselves by racism, fascism, and Nazism. And capitalism, for example, some rich people, they don't want to respect other nations' rights. And the center of the capitalism is New York. And if you travel in New York, you see 1 million live in luxury place, while 3 million sleep in the hard winter, in the coldness, in the pedestrians and streets. And this is the capitalism and the future of the capitalism for all of the nations. So we have to pass this ism. Anybody who is independent from the ism, for example, Islamism, he will or she will be deserved more and more to be president for Earth. And I want anybody who is free from ism come and introduce himself or herself as a nominate or candidate to be president for all of the nations. Anybody with any history can change himself and make new promises and join us. Doesn't matter Elon Musk or Vladimir Putin. So I have to describe and start very soon and finish very soon, because this speech is the most speech by me during the history until now. So, just let me find where we have been and what we have been talking about. So, humankind, and especially noble ones, if they want, if they want to be president or king, elected or selected king by democratic way, for a president for all of the nation, he or she must pass from the obstacles. And these obstacles make bias, make difference between nations, make difference between human being with human being, and make hallucinations that we are, for example, more and more better, more efficient, more worthy than other races, other religion members, other, for example, we are Anglo-Saxon, we are white, and we are better than Africans. This is hallucination, and all of the scientists, true scientists, agree about that. Anybody who claim he is better than others, they say we are Muslim, we are better than non-Muslim. For example, in Iran, the crazy mullahs, especially Shiite mullahs, they would say and believe we are Muslim, so we are more deserved to access to everything. For example, we are Muslim, that is our right to dominate on Jerusalem. This is the craziness of the mullah, both Sunni and Shiite, and this is the hallucination of the mullah. And other people like Hitler, like some Iranian, they say we are Aryans and we are more intelligent than other races. They are also crazy. Anglo-Saxons know themselves more important than other races. They are racist, so they are not deserved to be president. We have to find the most appropriate ones. So these people must pass from these hallucinations that is the direct productions of their own mind and their own wrong thinking way. So they have to pass that, and I don't want to repeat. For anybody who want to be nominated or candidate or introduce him or herself as a candidate to be president, you must pass from sexism, nationalism, racism, capitalism, Marxism, communism, religions, your customs, and your skin colors, and any other things that make wall between you and other human being, make difference between you and human being. In the philosophy of the gabrielism, all of the 8 billion people they are equal and has equal vote and has equal right to introduce themselves as a president candidate or for voting. Be father of the for all of the peoples. I am talking about Pope Benedict and other great genius people. They want make themselves correct and must think not just only about their own people and own nations and own followers, must also think about all of the peoples in the world. Also, I want to recommend Putin, Xi Jinping, Kim Jong-un to make themselves ready to be candidate and expose themselves to about voting by other nations. Soonly we will make a platform for voting. 8 million people can participate. So I am very eager ask from Elon Musk or Zuckerberg or Bill Gates combine together and make some social media that is interesting for all of the 8 billion people, and all of the people can access to this platform and can participate in these elections and voting. Also, you can introduce yourself as the most efficient and most deserved and most qualified nominate to be president for us. I am talking about especially Elon Musk and Bill Gates, because they have enough knowledge and experience, and they are more acceptable for all of the nations and all of the countries. Later on, I will send a letter to Elon Musk and introduce my strategic economic plan for him. He can make $1 trillion for himself and give my percentage. 1% is belonging to me, and he can make $1 trillion. Then he can use this money about making himself as a president or king for all of the nations and all of the countries. So Elon Musk must separate from every group and be independent from the nationality, from the country, from the race, and from the religion, and from the anything that separate him from 8 billion people who live on Earth. For example, the place of the birth. Some people who think their birthplace is inside United States of America, so they are more desirable than other nations. That is the wrong hallucination. Any biases must be removed. Otherwise, all of our effort is useless to make union for human beings. I just have 5 minutes to finish my speech today, and this is I want to present 7 8 ways for Palestine, Israel to Rubel. If you remember, about 1 week ago, I recommended that all of the countries, especially Arabic countries, plus Americans and Europeans, must give $1 million for every Palestinian and buy all of the lands. Because, for example, you suppose you live between neighbors and you have every day a trouble, and you fight every day with each other and make a lot of loss for each other. For example, you kill each other, you make wounds. So that is better for you to say goodbye to this location and go to other location. My recommendation for Palestinians is that they must immigrate. They must immigrate, because this territory is belonging to Israel, and history is the great evidence. And there is just one territory, one land that is belong to Israel. Other places, you see about 2.5 million Muslims live in different places, but Mecca is belonging to Muslims, but Jerusalem is belonging to Jewish people, because they are the most old resident. And there is a lot of other factors that make qualifying and make clear for everybody this land is belong to Israel, but Israel must buy the other land, remaining land from Palestinians. The solution is that we have totally 5 million Palestinians. All of the countries must give visa of America and Canada, and any other countries must give free visa for Palestinian, and give for every Palestinian $1 million, and Palestinian might must say goodbye forever, must say goodbye forever to Israel, and deliver these lands that is belong to Israel. That is the first and best solution that I presented about 10 days ago, and they neglected. Now Israel has 1,000 killed, and this you can't reverse the situation. A lot of people died. A lot of family is crying now because they lost their dears, and you can't make it reverse. If I say something, all of the nations must consider very, very carefully and very seriously, because I see the future. If I say we must to choose a president for all of the nations and all of the countries, all of the nations and countries must do very quickly prepare the platform of voting. Otherwise, you will see disaster. That was the first solution. $5 trillion for 5 million Palestinians. They must prepare this money and give them and buy all of this land. Then Palestinians will travel to United States and be resident there and spend this money inside the territory of United States. That enrich Canada, enrich United States, enrich Arabic countries. Anybody who prepare this money will come back to their own homeland. That was the best and first solution. Very, very quickly, Ben Salman must send a lot of ships and evacuate Gaza from Palestinians. Otherwise, these people will be deleted from earth and will be killed. And there is no other way to prevent that, because all of the countries give legitimacy nowadays and give approval about delete forever any Palestinian, and these lands will be attached to Israel. We don't want that, and we don't wish that. We want best, not just for Israeli people, but also for Palestinians. But these two neighbors would never make peace. These neighbors will go to war with each other to the end of the war. So if we want to truly prevent any killing and murders and prevent any additional unnecessary cost for human beings, we must evacuate and make empty those places from Palestinians by make prepayment, make jobs and placement for them in other countries. That was the best and first solution. The other option is make replacement. For example, in Iran, we have a lot of Kurd people. These Kurd people are ready to travel to Israel. We can replace these people by Kurd people inside Iran. We love Kurd people in Iran, but they would prefer to travel in Israel and live there. And Republic Islamic of Iran prefer to live beside of the Palestinians. So we can replace, for example, anybody who has apartment, they can exchange with Gaza, and that is good for Israel, because Israel, that is best option for Israel to replace radical Palestinian Muslims with different cultures, different nationality, and different religions. So that is the best option. Everybody who is interested to live beside Israel can replace their hosts from Iran, from Middle East, from European countries. They can replace with the apartment with Gaza and prevent destroying this apartment that will be done a few days later, totally and absolutely by Israel troops. And another option, the third option, is a great attack. I don't recommend, but that is the only option. If other option is not working, Israel has to attack and make it clear from any radicalism those lands. We don't recommend that. And another solution for Israel-Palestinian difficulties and disaster is Some countries that are free from population, like Greenland, like Canada, make some territory just for Palestinian and say, you go there and live together there. We facilitate for you and make placement and job and loan. Go there and live freely and without any trouble and disaster. You can travel and live forever, but you has not right to come back. You and your children and grandchildren deliver forever this land to Israel. Another option is making greatest walls like the China wall, China historical wall. They can make very, very great castle that is too costly and that is not that is another option and solution. Another option and solution is make I told for 1,000 people who live in 100,000 people, 150,000 people who live in Gaza, they make just for Gaza people or Gaza people or Gaza people job placement visa plus a good loan and make provoke them and make good conditions that they accept immigrate from there forever, immigrate from there and deliver this land to Israel. Another time, I want to recommend that when you can't live with your neighbor, that is the best choice for you to immigrate. They are neighbor and they will fight forever and they would never make a peace. What doesn't matter whatever America or Saudi Arabia or other Muslim society recommend, they are hostile about each other and they have great envy, enmity, and hostility, and that is started from 100 years ago to now. They kill each other. Not 100 years, 100 years or 70 or 80, 100 years ago. They started hostility and cruelty about each other, and they would never stop that, and they would never to make peace. So that is better to live there and immigrate there from there permanently. Palestinians must deliver land to Israel because this land is belonged to Israel. And we have a lot of proof, and we don't have time to explain one by one. Historians and judges, and especially international law judges, will explain why this Jerusalem, especially Jerusalem, belonged to Jewish people. And another option is buy all of the Palestine territory. Some Arabic countries buy this land and evacuate their from people and replace with new people that has not hostility and envy and enmity with Israel peoples. This is the end, and thank you for listening. Thank you all of the broadcasters. I had to use my laptop because my cell phone is full and I have to find solution. Maybe the quality of this video is not similar to the previous ones. We will we will do everything to make it better day by day, and we will do whatever we can to do that. Thank you for listening. God bless you all. God bless all of the broadcasters. Wish success for everybody, and thank you for listening. Thank you all of the media, Iran International, CNN, BBC, Voice of America, and many others. Thank you all of the governments and all of the noble politicians, journalists, etc., etc., etc. Thank you all. God bless you all and keep you safe. We wish best for 8 billion people. Have a nice time.